Hello, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It's Monday night, which means we're playing Shadows of Esteren, a game made by the French company Studio Agate, and we're running through these prologue adventures. We started with Poison, and then did Redfall, and we're currently on the Loch Varn adventure, which will be the last of the three that we're running. Below the stream, there are links to our social media, our Twitter and Instagram, our YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, or Twitch if you're watching on YouTube, our Discord, which you can come and join and chat to us and the rest of our community about all things tabletop role-playing or otherwise, and also our Patreon, which if you enjoy what we're doing and want to support us, you can do that through there. Other things that we do on the channel, Wednesday nights, we run Simba Room. Thursday nights, although they're on hold at the moment, we have a World of Darkness game. Join the Discord or our social media to find out when that's coming back. And on the first Saturday of every month, we run, or usually Saturday, we run a different one-shot adventure, different systems, players, GMs, etc. The next one is Sunday the 6th of March and will be Tales from the Loop. It's very exciting. Right, cool. Let's jump straight into recaps from last session. Let's bring on Justin, who plays Fulgur the Knight. Hi, Justin.
Hi.
Yeah, run us through the beginning of last week's session.
So we found ourselves, in media res, as the experts say, in that we were pinned down by arrow fire behind some kind of wall, and there was a brief ceasefire. Someone appeared out of the shadows. Fulgur murdered them in cold blood, and then the group beat a hasty retreat back to goodness knows where. We just ran like dogs in the night or bats out of hell.
This person did look like they were going to kill you. It's worth mentioning.
I don't know if they did. That's what Fulgur said, but really it was dark, and maybe Fulgur was jumpy. He was acting erratically. He was acting strangely. He was acting out of the ordinary. At least from my perspective, but maybe that's how certain members of the group envisage me, putting it out there. Right, and we eventually we beat our way back through the darkness, unable to see a sky or anything, very much in the darkness, being accosted by more enemies that appeared out of the shadows, tracking us before we eventually made our way to some kind of refuge, a campfire in the dark.
Yeah, so let's bring Steve on, who plays Ragnall the Hunter. Hi, Steve.
Hi there.
So you spotted a campfire through the darkness.
All right, well, yeah, if you're going to put it like that, it's much less exciting.
It's also worth pointing out that we totally had no memory of who we were, why we were there, what was going on. So we'd been traveling through this weird place, saw a campfire in the haze of fog. Fulgur snuck up to it quietly, found that there were three people there, two in armor, one was a Demorthan, looked like. Bravely and without fear of their own safety, Fulgur engaged them in conversation and found out that actually they knew who we were, it seemed, and they'd sent us off to try and find the exit to this place that we'd been supposedly seemingly lost in for some time. We discovered that apparently Loch Varn had raised the alarm. That was why we were in this place in the first place. And they'd given us a map, which, again, we'd totally forgotten about, which looked something like this. So we were lost in what we realized was the labyrinth, that place on the right. They weren't very helpful with answers. We asked quite a load of questions, and their preference was that we should just get the hell out of here. And they were sending us off again to once again try to find the exit. So in the end, we struck out in a fairly random direction, found a long wall, followed that, and eventually came to a sort of a much more regular looking room, although it did contain 6 huge vats. So that's room 2 there. So we ended up going in there, and that's, I think, probably where we can cross over to.
Yeah, let's bring Inga on, who plays Sophia the Varigol.
Hiya.
Hey, Inga. Yeah, what happened in this room, Inga?
Well, we were just minding our own business, and poor old Fionn gets suddenly yoinked off his feet and dragged into one of these big old vats in marked 6. It's the ones marked 6, right? Just off.
6, yeah.
Off the refineries. And there is some big, scary plant with vines that has pulled him and dragged him. So a bit of a fight ensues. But we managed to best the plant. I think Ragnar had the final blow on that, and released poor Fionn, who had a bit of a rough time of it. But yeah, big, scary plant.
Yep. So let's bring Sam on, who plays Fionn. Hey,
Hello.
Sam. Take us
Yeah.
to the end of the session, Sam.
Yeah, so we basically went down then. We went kind of south on this map because we didn't really know exactly where we were going. Didn't remember anything, but we figured that 3 looks like 3 is labeled as the entrance, so there must be an exit there, right? So I think we head through the Great Vats without any particular difficulty. And then we came down to the entrance of the ruins, and there was no exit from our perspective, so no entrance, I guess. At the far wall there was only a door on the left and the right. And we were kind of thinking, well, what do we do now, when it was noticed that the ceiling was kind of made of centipedes, which isn't really something you want ceilings to be made of. So I think Fionn, I think I noticed first, so I was like, I'm just going to get the hell out of here, and dashed back up towards the room we came from, towards number 2. But the giant, enormous centipede that made up much of the roof uncurled itself and was right in front of me and proceeded to mercilessly attack me. And I think by this point, Fionn was really starting to feel like there's something about this place that seems to be targeting him. He couldn't really figure out why. But a few seconds later, Fionn was dead, just dead, just completely mushed. And then Fionn woke up screaming in the forest because it turns out all of last session was Fionn's dream. A very bad dream. I would go as far as to say a nightmare. I don't like this heaven.
So Fionn wakes with a scream, and in the seconds that is happening, he also hears and kind of has a flashback to leaving the campsite area where the Demorthan man and the 2 warriors were, and you kind of hear the old man's voice shouting, "Don't forget the chapel, it holds secrets."
Okay.
So everyone else is obviously, well, presumably, unless you've taken some kind of sleeping concoction, awoken by Fionn's screams.
Fulgur grabs his sword, readying himself for the attacker that is clearly murdering Fionn.
Yeah, I'd be leaping out of whatever I'm sleeping on, grabbing my axe and rushing over, looking around.
You're probably. I guess you'll see me like writhing around, like I just was
being attacked
crushed
by centipede.
Yes, exactly. So I'm like momentarily just trying to get insect off me, jumping up, and then I think I probably calm down after a second and just look around, and then I remember like where I was, and that I do remember everything. I do remember where we were from the previous day. Right now, Jonny.
So,
Oh no. Fionn doesn't know who he is.
Oh, if that's the case.
You have some memories preceding this event.
Okay. That's not exactly what I was hoping to hear.
So is that true for everyone, or just Fionn? Are we all equally crazy?
I'll let you have conversations amongst yourselves on Fionn's waking, I think.
Like, do we at least remember that? Like, do we know that we know Fionn or?
Yeah, you all know who you are. You
Everything's
remember the
completely
events
normal.
of the previous adventures and so on. So yeah, I think as far as you're concerned at this point, everything's normal.
Okay.
So
And
we're
throughout the forest-
not halfway through an adventure or something. We're not. Are we just wandering aimlessly?
No, you are you basically
Yeah.
you are on the way to help the people of Loch Varn
Right.
Okay.
because the alarm has been raised.
I still like the idea, given the somewhat from Jonny there, that the next thing Fionn will do. Well, presumably everyone's now looking at him, having been throwing non-existent
Yes,
insects.
that
up
would
himself.
that does sound like something we would be doing.
I'll just look at you, everyone else, and just go, "Where are we? What are we doing here?"
I explain to Fionn what's happening. Did you have? Sometimes dreams can seem very real.
Yes.
I once
Very
had a
good.
dream that I was eating huge, legs of mutton, and when I woke up, I couldn't.
Your pillow was gone.
My pillow was gone.
It's that blow to the head, Fionn. It's you're still not right.
Seemed important. We were
What did the dream say? Sometimes dreams do have meaning and messages.
precisely. Well, we didn't know where we were at first. We didn't even know who we were or anything like that. And then we were in this place, this dark, endless place. Couldn't escape it. Terrible things kept happening. It turned out to be a Magiantist's lair of some sort. Hate Magiantists. But
Steve, at that, Ragnall is aware that you have visited a Magiantist ruins, but that it was nothing like what Fionn is describing from his dream.
Okay.
As far as you're concerned, these are his anxious nightmares, or maybe, as you've said, due to a blow to the head. But you have very clear memories of your visit there. It was just a deserted, a gloomy ruin, but definitely you could see the ends of the rooms that you were in.
Yeah.
And it was empty besides a few documents which you found there, which I'll share with you shortly.
Okay. And it didn't have a recognizable layout. It wasn't, it didn't have rooms full of vats and.
It did. If he's
did.
described that,
I haven't
you would.
described that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us as much as you can remember about your
Sorry, Jonny, for clarity, like when you say Ragnar remembers this, is that because it's somewhere that only Ragnar and Fionn have been, or only Ragnar's been, and we haven't, or we're on our way back from Loch?
I think this is something we can't ask to specify yet. We're going to have to keep playing.
Sophia does not remember visiting any ruins such as Fionn has described. So
Okay,
as far as Sophia is concerned, it's just a dream. You're not on your way to any ruins.
Okay, we're just on our way to a Loch.
Yes, as far as you're aware.
Okay.
However, Sophia, as she kind of wakes up, starts looking around. And Sophia, you think that Jiren, who is another Varigel who was traveling with you, is missing from your party.
I think I will continue and say, what have we reached Loch Varn yet? I mean, this was all in service of them. Something about the ruins.
We're on the way there. We haven't got to Loch Varn yet.
Well, I'm going back to bed.
No, wait. That Fionn, are you sure nothing outside of your mind, nothing real woke you? Has anybody seen Jiren? Is he? Sorry, Jonny. Is there anybody else in our party? There's a bigger group of us. It's not just us, right? Then there's a bit of a.
It's just you here currently.
Okay.
Fulgur, you agree that Jiren is missing. Ragnar and Theon, you've never heard of Jiren in your lives.
Right.
Cool.
Who?
Jiron, he's probably gone to, take a piss or something. I'm going back to sleep.
No, who? We've not. I've never.
The other Varagor with us. He's on this. He's helping us investigate whatever this thing is at Loch Varn.
Don't remember the name. We didn't travel with anyone, did we?
Wait. I mean, Theon, I know you. No offense, but you've had some knocks to the head.
You've forgotten things before, Theon. This is
Yeah.
Ragnar. This is a surprising turn of events. Maybe this is contagious.
Fulgur starts to get an uncomfortable feeling about the place that you're kind of in and around, and yeah.
You know what? I don't think I can sleep after all.
While he concurs that Jiren's disappearance is a thing, he also thinks that some other people were maybe with you and are perhaps dead, but you don't remember who. And as a sort of a member of the temple, you suspect the influence of the demon.
You know what? This whole thing.
Oh, you're going to start going about the bloody demon again?
Unsettling.
Given all.
I can't quite remember. Who was it that we were travelling with? The others, the ones that died. What were their names? I'm also getting a bit of confusion about this whole thing.
No, we weren't really traveling with them. You're thinking of Angus.
No, not Angus. Look,
Who-
I think
who?
all of us seem to be thinking different things, remembering different things. This can only be the work of some powerful evil creature or the occult. Oh, I'm not going to sleep at all after this. I start stuffing my things back into a bag angrily.
Jonny, given that the dream that I had as well, can I just check myself and everyone over to see if it looks like they've been hurt in any way or anything of the equipment that I would expect is missing?
Fulgus doesn't have a
course.
face.
Yeah.
I'm just checking if anything. It seems like time has passed or weird things have happened, so I'm trying to find evidence that we've been through things we don't remember. Given that I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, there are bits of damage to people's shields and armor, but not anything that stands out to you as particularly fresh or.
Okay. And it's not
or specifically centipede slime on a sword or anything.
And no one's wounded, and it's not like all of our rations have been eaten or something. Okay.
No.
Fulgur rolled a 2 on perception, and so notices nothing as usual.
Or at least some things are.
Yeah.
Some things are still the same.
Yeah, can I have a bit of a look around, more of a sort of tracking? Is there any, or maybe not even tracking, but just any evidence of another person who would is there?
Sure, yeah. Make a perception roll. Also, Steve, the 2 items that Ragnar has currently, if at any point you wanted to reveal them to everybody for whatever reason, are the ones labeled the puzzle and report 1.
Cool.
That's a botch on my perception roll.
Nice.
Botch.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yesterday I had all the double 10s. This session is obviously going to be all my double 1s.
Sophia just disappears in front of our eyes.
Where are my friends? I'm sure I was traveling with friends.
Jonny, just to gauge how unsettled I am as Theon right now, do I have any perception of where I am, or is this just I'm in a forest and I don't know where I came from and where I am at all?
Yeah, I think you're all aware that you are at a camp sort of on the way to Loch Varn.
Okay, good. Not totally.
What is this forest like? Could you describe it? Is it moody? Is it misty? Is there?
No, you're in a clearing, and it's actually quite clear. Quite the juxtaposition between your mood and it's night. You're not sure exactly what time. It's
Is there a stream nearby?
Yes, I think you probably would have set yourself down near a stream, wouldn't you?
I'm going to go and freshen up. I just feel dirty from this whole experience. I feel like I need to clear my mind and clean my body. I'm going to take the soap.
How much soap do you have left, incidentally? Can you
I
gauge
use it
the passage of
sparingly.
time by
I use it sparingly.
special occasions?
Maybe having seen Sophia really, really struggle to look around at tracks and thinking that's a good idea, I might have an attempt at that as well. If that's not
Yes,
too...
I would help if.
I think, like, if you guys like should not necessarily say anything, but like that clear lack of perception is probably Sophia desperately looking for something that clearly is not there and getting very frustrated about not being able to find the evidence to explain herself properly.
Shall I make a perception roll, Jonny?
Yeah, sure.
Jonny, can I remember anybody travelling with us?
No.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. You're pretty certain that there are no tracks in or out of your camp, apart from your own coming in.
Okay.
And sort of, things that are maybe a few days old that are sort of milling around and animal tracks and stuff, but it certainly doesn't look like somebody got up 2 hours ago while you were sleeping and left or anything like that.
Yeah. I'll loop back to everyone else and say, particularly to Sophia, I've had a look at our tracks in. They're the only fresh ones around here, I'm pretty certain. It doesn't look like there was anyone else with us, Sophia. I don't think this Jaren was here.
But he was, and Fulgur remembers him. It's not just a figment of my mind. There's a real person here.
I'll show you the tracks of ours, and then be like, there's only 4 of us that arrived here.
I know. I've been. What do you think I've been looking at, Fionn? It doesn't make sense, but he was here.
Jonny, am I surprised by finding these things?
No, you're aware that you know that you have those because you went to the Magiantis ruins and you found them there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll sort of pull them out and say, well, we went to one set of ruins, but it was nothing like you described, and we got these items there. I will bring out these 2 bits of paper. So which one would be best to show first? I think probably this one.
When did we go to?
Can any of you read?
That's a good question. I hope so.
Fair point.
So, sorry, Ragnar. What's this got to do with with now? Some trip you went on with Fionn a while ago. What?
I didn't go.
About?
Is that, am I the person? Is that displaying right? Because I've only got about 2 lines that I can see of that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. There's not a 3rd line that, or it is cut off.
I can see the whole paragraph, Justin. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're killing me here. But seriously, is the 3rd line supposed to be legible?
I can also only see two full lines.
No, I can see
that was what I was given
what everyone else is talking about.
That was what I was given by just Jonny. So if Jonny is playing pranks, then we're all done.
No, that's not saved properly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
or it hasn't sent properly.
I'm seeing a map. What's everyone else?
Shut up.
The kitten.
Right,
Okay.
here we are.
Well, I'll take that off then. We can.
That's weird.
I hope you're all following this at home.
I'm glad. Personally, it's added to the story. If anything,
This is going to be one of those weird meta sessions where we as players start to forget things, and by the end of it, we're just breaking down as humans.
Amazing. Well, let me.
It's okay. It's there now.
Bear with me
So
for a second or two.
We should hold that
What-
roleplay moment as well.
what-
'cause that was
what
a good
do I
moment where
remember
We were
of
all
J-
like, Ragnall, it's something that you did some time ago that none of us went on.
what do I remember of Giron?
You remember that there was a Varigol traveling with you who you had kind of picked up along the road on the way here, somebody who had offered to come and help you at Loch Varn. And there's nothing massively stand out He was kind of on the outside of the group, as obviously you all knew each other. And also, he was part of, from Fulger's point of view, a larger group of people who was also traveling with you. So you'd learned all their names, but you didn't necessarily interact with any one of them loads. Yeah, so date 855, subject experimentation on fossil flux. The fossil element shows entirely new properties in contact with plants. We were already aware of the weed-killing effects of this matter, but it displayed an amazing reaction. At the direct contact of fossil flux samples, the plants shrivel, rot, but do not die. On the contrary, after an incubation time, they start developing and growing. This would explain in great...
Now, Fulger doesn't know the date at the best of times, but does 855 seem like a long time ago or a recent time? Are we talking 1,000 years ago? 5 years ago?
That's a great
5
question.
months ago?
Very old fashioned.
Does Fulger know what year he was born? So you know what year it's supposed to be? This is the kinds of questions that I have of Fulger, and I rolled for it. I didn't roll high. I've got to put it out there.
Fulger does not know when he was
that's
born.
what I expect. That's what I expect. I rolled an erudition roll, I got a total of 7.
We could
after
role
rolling
play
2.
while Johnny's searching for the date, which might take a while.
Now, 855. That was a good year.
So Ragnall, we've all said no to the remembering this thing. I want to hear what you say now.
I thought
The current year is 907.
Okay.
So 52 years ago.
And Johnny, has Fionn any memory of the ruins, the Magiantist ruins, or not?
No,
It's not what you just
No.
explained. I have my dream, which I now think was a dream.
Okay.
Very strange.
But it was. We went there, and do I recall Fionn going with me to the ruins?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right.
The
You
whole
were with
gang?
me? Oh yes. Who?
These are the questions we have to
Yeah.
ask.
Who can I
Yeah,
remember being with them?
So Ragnall's view is that, or Ragnall's truth is that the four
Right.
of you went to the Magiantist ruins.
Right.
The
Picked up these
layout
items.
was as in that map,
Right.
and you searched throughout. It was empty, gloomy, but fine, and you
Sorry,
found
Johnny.
those
What-
two.
When you say as that map, obviously Dream Us saw the map.
I will sketch.
Ragnall still also have a map. If he says it's like that map, would we know what he's talking about?
No, Ragnall doesn't have the map.
He doesn't.
I was just
Maybe Fionn could
explaining
sketch
that
a
as the
version of
layout.
his map for us.
We can both sketch a version, and then you can compare.
You said, was there another document?
Yes, there was. I will find it.
Not that Fulger's there. Fulger is
Ragnall
still
scrabbles through his pack
bathing.
to find. You see, now I don't know whether this is actually the real document or not. This could be totally unrelated.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ragnall. Right. So you two have completely forgotten somebody who was with us yesterday when we went to sleep.
Or
and-
you've invented them.
Well, no, because Fulger remembers as
Look,
well.
It's clear we've all had completely different experiences somehow. None of these
No.
things are true or false. Something different is going on.
I'm sorry, you've just had this awful traumatic event where you didn't remember things. You're not remembering something again. I don't think you need to overcomplicate things.
But explain Ragnall's side of this as well. Explain where these items came from. Somehow we've all had different
He's not talking-
experiences.
You're talking about some trip that you guys went on. I don't even know when. I don't know why you're bringing this stuff up, Ragnall. This is irrelevant. You just had a funny dream, and the pressing thing here is we've got to find Duran.
Fulger is going to finish bathing, dress himself, and start stoking the fire back up. It's good to have some breakfast, I think.
I don't know what this nonsense is on that you've got here, Ragnall. I don't know what significance you think this holds, but someone's just gone missing, and you're pulling out papers and talking about some trip you took. But I don't understand.
Yeah, I assume the papers don't trigger anything in Fulgur when he then eventually goes over and has a look at them. Interesting.
Great.
Well, I think that it's likely that whatever my position is mistaken.
Are you saying
So-
that as a player or a character?
No, I think Fulgur's...
Is Fulgur self-aware? Is Fulgur that self-aware?
Fulgur is aware that truth is very much a slippery concept.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
all the time, the things that he knows to be true, other people don't hold to be true at all. And so, this is a normal position for him to be in.
Right, it's made his peace with that.
I agree
Oh,
with
yeah.
Fulgur. I agree with
Yeah.
Fulgur. I think we're all probably wrong in some form in this.
Well, yes, all wrong in some form. All right in some form is a more dangerous idea.
These Magiantists.
If we can't find any tracks leading away from the camp, then this Giron fella, perhaps I'm misremembering it. Perhaps not, though. We should be
But, I mean, people
aware
can
of
cover
that.
people can cover their tracks. Like this is not that's not necessarily that unusual. I mean,
Well-
maybe actually Jiren is behind this. Maybe Jiren had slipped something in. I don't know why. Maybe he's behind some of this disturbance at Loch Varn, and that's why he joined us. And he's put something in our drink yesterday
He should-
evening, and it's not had the desired effect. And he's run off. I don't know, but there's some. I don't understand.
I have a question. Does Fulgur still have 6 Embadal to his name?
No, didn't you get more?
The starting. Do I still have my money? Yeah, I've got 40 now, don't I? Do I still have all my
Yes.
caches, basically? In which
Yes.
case, if this Giron fella is gone, he has taken nothing from me, and if he doesn't want to be found, then he must have his reasons for leaving. I
think-
chopping some meat onto this pan that I'm cooking
I think the
on.
most important thing to figure out right now is the last thing that we all remember that is the same. It seems like this Jaren person is the first thing that might be different. When do you remember meeting Jaren, Sophia?
On the way to Loch Varn. Jonny, how long have we been? Do we have any concept of how long we've been traveling, or how long it's been since we embarked?
Without a discussion, you probably don't.
I think we've been
Probably
traveling
not
for a
100%
week.
sure.
And or okay, that I guess rather than saying does Sophia, you have to ask individually, does Sophia have a memory of being given this task or who we spoke to? Was it at Derg? Was it somewhere else that we got that we heard?
Yes, while you were in Derg, you basically this signal was seen, and a bunch of people kind of volunteered to go, and you remember being basically one of the parties that agreed to go.
And Giron was along that group, and then Fulgur believes there were other people with him too.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Fulgur places the date at being about a few days after leaving leaving Derg, right? No?
Yeah, so we know the folk. We didn't leave with Jiren. He joined us on the way. We were at Derg. We just cleared Fion's name. We took a few days.
Doesn't sound right.
We took a few days. I think obviously some of us needed to rest up after that thing, and I did a few jobs. I did a bit of messengering. I think you earned a bit of cash, Volga. You did some.
Yes.
Ragnar, you went hunting. There were a few bits and pieces, and then there was some signal about some trouble at Loch Varn, and they sent out groups of people, and we went out. Of course, we did. We went and helped. It's what we do. And then Jiren, he met us on the road. I think he'd heard about.
Signal.
About the signal,
So-
and he was trying to join one. Did we
So
tell?
I remember all of that except Jaren joining us. I don't remember that at all. What do you remember, Ragnar? The same as that, or do you remember? You don't remember the
Well,
Jaren?
we visited, all 4 of us, we visited the Magianist ruins, so we've,
But just the 4 of us. You don't remember Jaren.
just the 4 of us, I don't remember.
And
Jiren, so-
how long ago do we visit them?
No, there was that cave with the flux, but that wasn't a set of ruins. That was like an old
No,
mine.
this was after that.
How long did we visit these ruins?
Johnny,
GM.
how long ago does Ragnar think he visited them?
The order of
difficult to pin
events
down.
are a little hazy in your mind as you come to try and think of it. So, as you are going through sort of the order of events, you kind of sit discussing around the fire. And
arguing, really.
And kind of eventually, work forwards to and kind of along the way, kind of picking apart bits that are maybe slightly different for each person. And you recall your arrival in the Vale of Loch Varn from Derg, where you were previously. Let's see if this will let me share, because I forgot to send this to Steve because last week it didn't let me share. Oh, it is this time. Great.
Cool.
Okay. So you remember your arrival from the Vale of Melwan into Loch Varn's Vale, and you remember your arrival at the Inga, which is basically a sort of fortressy thing built into Dohag's Pass, which is kind of the one way through to here without going up and over the mountains. So you remember seeing the smoke of the distress signal, and then the council's decision to send the scouting party and the expedition through Dohag's Pass, which was cold and quite difficult. And you remember, all of you, when you reached the stronghold's outskirts. So in front of you at that point was a half-raised portcullis. Everything was silent. So there's snow on the ground, and you've got that kind of deadened sound from the snow, and very much heightens the feeling of stillness. And you're outside this half-raised portcullis. What do you do?
Fulgur will stick
This
his
is
head in.
obviously all memory, obviously. Okay, so in here is there's a tower at this end, an inner courtyard, and then down the right-hand side, as you're looking at it, is what you presume to be a barracks building. You see a door and some kind of cut-out windows over there. Can you make a perception roll for Fulgur, please, Justin?
Absolutely. Ooh, I rolled a 5, so 7 overall.
Okay, fine. There's been a heavy snowfall last night, and everything looks quite immaculate in here.
Wonderful. Is there a door into any of the buildings in this kind of through the portcullis?
There is a door into the barracks over at the other side, and you imagine that there may be a door around the other side of the tower, like on the inside, if you were to head in properly.
I think I'll try and make my way in. Well, I'm going to call back to the rest of the group and say, there's no one around.
I guess, yeah. Follow, have a look around after Fulgur as well.
Okay, can anyone entering and surveying the courtyard area give me a perception roll, please?
Okay.
11.
Yeah, anybody who gets an 8 or more, you see that there, kind of amidst the snow, is an almost 3 foot wide, what looks like a molehill. And it's kind of loose earth, so you figure it's been disturbed relatively recently.
Okay.
Anyone inside this barracks when I try and get inside?
Okay, so you enter the barracks, and it's in quite a state of disarray.
Disappointing.
Kind of things strewn around, bedclothes off beds. A couple of the benches are kind of knocked over in what you presume to be the sort of mess hall common area. Are you poking around in sort of the bedrooms as well?
Yeah, I'll look around. I might, be with maybe my hand on the hilt of my sword, be quietly, calling out, not trying to shout or anything, in case there's still, in case there's something bad's happened. But if anyone's in a room, I don't want to just walk in without announcing myself, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you don't see anybody throughout this, and actually, one of the beds is flipped over. There's obviously something has gone on
That's
here.
happened.
Yeah.
Any this is a garrison. Anything good to nick? Like, swords don't pay for themselves.
If you go to the weapons cabinet, a lot of stuff is gone, but there would be, if you wanted
spare
to
pair
take
of full plate, maybe.
If you wanted to take a spear, for example, rather than your sword, there's the option to kind of claim that kind of stuff.
Just extra weight.
Yeah, but no suits of armor available.
Stealing things in a shared memory. This is.
Hey, Fulger's got to eat,
Jonny, did the signal for danger? Do we know if that came from Ingard here, or
you can see?
Itself?
Yeah, you can see that a small amount of smoke is still drifting up from the top of the tower. That's just through the entrance to the portcullis. Through the portcullis.
Either they left in a hurry or something found them here as well.
I'd probably want to investigate this this molehill thing. Look around for tracks. Is it sort of, has snow fallen on it? Is it what sort of?
Some snow has fallen on it, but it's that when you get sort of snow on dirt, and it's a little bit of both. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty fresh though. If you sort of pick up the earth, it's not frozen solid because it's been disturbed and kind of crumbled apart. It's not frozen again yet, so it's relatively recent.
Are there any other tracks around it? Does it look like a tunnel or something? Can I tell whether something has come out of it, or
there are no tracks in the snow apart from yours now as you're moving around. You can't see anything else. This has disturbed the snow.
Going to be difficult to find tracks underneath this snow, isn't it? But I don't know what about you, but within a day, whatever dug this has happened.
Yeah, it must have been. It's the earth is still soft.
Could have done it.
I'm not sure.
We don't have any large digging creatures, do we, Jonny?
Can centipedes dig?
Yeah, centipedes are quite diggy. Fion's going. Does it look like the sort of size that a centipede might dig? The giant centipede from my dream.
Maybe.
This is before you've had your dream, right?
No, because we're reliving the thoughts. But
yes.
the reaction to it would be. So I would react to that.
At the point that you were there, you wouldn't be thinking this.
Yes,
but
I would
you now recounting the two memories would, potentially link the two.
In the conversation that we're having to relive this, I might have that. I might make that point.
Maybe no one's gone up towards the tower yet, where the smoke is. The smoke's from the top.
But Fulger, if you want anyone to go with, then would be kind of done poking around.
Yeah, I'll indicate to Fulger. Head up towerwards.
Let's do it.
Okay. So you head up one floor, and there's a couple of beds in here for presumably people sort of switching out watch from this tower, you would imagine. You go up another floor, and there is a desk. if you wanted to investigate around that area.
Sure do.
Okay. Yeah, you see a hastily written letter. Steve, are you able to share the other image that I sent you? Thank you. Sire, I am writing to you in order to inform you of a preoccupying situation here in Loch Varn. Several of my men have disappeared without a trace, and the same thing has happened to several of Varn's inhabitants. A few of my men have noticed strange activity in the forest, which indicates that there could be Fiondas about. We have in particular found molehills 3 feet wide, an unfamiliar thing in the region. However, it is also possible that a party of marauders active for several months is at the origin of such troubles. Several patrols have reported unusual activity near the derelict Magiantist laboratory. It is thus possible that people, or worse, creatures, have made this place theirs. We require reinforcements to clean this place of what is lurking there. I will be expecting news from you. Your faithful servant, Harold Tor.
Well, that's why we must have gone to the ruins then.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Are you sure we've already got there though?
Well, we wouldn't be able to remember it if we hadn't. Wouldn't we?
At the point
I've
that you're at the
still-
Inga, you
yeah.
haven't been there, obviously.
Yeah.
Are we now discussing secondary
Oh.
the Inn Guard? Which conversation are we having?
You need to have like a little
Shed
status.
memory, I slipped. Sorry, I slipped into future or present tense.
Stick with this memory.
Yeah,
When
check
Johnny
it
tells us
out.
to go back to the other one.
Johnny, is it reasonable for there to be a small amount, maybe a few days worth of food, perhaps with candles, just bric-a-brac to nick from this, this place? If Fulgur wants to nick, if Fulgur is desperate to not have to pay any money for anything, he wants to steal the shit, all of it.
You could definitely get some candles.
Cool.
I think the chance of there being any food left as people have scattered is relatively slim.
Rats. Well, fair enough. Candles keep you warm. You can eat those if you need to.
The steps do continue up out of this room.
In the memory, have Randall and Fionn joined up the tower as well, or is this just just Sophia and Fulgur up there?
I guess if there was nothing else to see downstairs.
I think I was probably really looking at tracks to see if I can figure out what made this hole. I'm not sure I can do, but that's probably what I'm continuing to do.
All right. Well, then just to Fulgur, I guess, as we carry on up the stairs, and assuming Sophia can grab that bit of paper. I wonder if this is something to do with the occult as well. I mean, people went missing in Durg, and then it was, whatever weird creature that people turning into funny things. I wonder if it's something similar.
Maybe it could be. Maybe it could be, Sophia. Well, up these stairs.
This brings you to a kind of trapdoor, which you presume will take you to the roof.
Fulgur pushes it open without any hesitation.
Yeah. So up here is what you would expect with sort of, battlements around the outside.
Parapets.
Parapets, yeah. And brazier, which, as I said, is still smoking slightly. And that's it.
Well, I'm not sure how fruitful this was. I suppose it's useful to know where they were headed. We can try and head the same direction, but
Is the room with the desk just below?
Yes, one floor down. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go feed this fire. You never know if we could do with more people turning up to help with whatever. The things being described in that letter sound quite dangerous. Might be good to keep the signal burning for a few more hours even. And Fulgur's going to go downstairs and start smashing up furniture to feed into the brazier.
Sophia will gleefully join you in that.
He likes having things to do.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
From upstairs, you can hear smashing of furniture.
I'm looking up confused at what's going on there, and then back to my task, which is I'm trying to see if it looks like, I know it's difficult to track in the fresh snow, but I'm trying to see if I can get any indication where there was a battle here. There's no one dead around anywhere. Is there any indication of damage or around this hole? That's the sort of thing I want to try and search for. I guess, with Ragnar.
Certainly, if you go into the barracks, what Fulgur has seen certainly looks like a brawl, if not a full-blown battle. You don't see sort of blood stains anywhere, but it may be that something did take place more so in the courtyard eventually. It may have spilled out into the courtyard and then that's covered in snow. But certainly it looks like people kind of rushed out and something has gone on in the barracks.
But no bodies to be found if I have a good search for them.
No.
Okay, so good news, possibly, is that they have managed to remove the dead, or very bad news, something else took the dead.
Concerning.
But if there was a battle, presumably someone died.
Yeah, assuming we finish stroking fire and head back down, I'll come down and show Ragnar and be on the note as well, obviously. There's something about funny molehills, and they've gone off to some giantess ruins. People have been disappearing. I wonder if it's something to do with the occult, someone meddling with the occult again. But I mean, there's a lot more disappearances by the sounds of it. So something bigger at play.
On a mention of the molehill, I'll just point out the giant molehill that we were searching around to you two. Looks like whatever it was came here.
Did you see anything from the top of the tower? I presume we knew that they'd gone up there and could see them briefly at the top.
Yeah. I looked like a normal day to me.
Oh, was there somewhere that was? I didn't really. I just had a picture in my head. I should have validated that it was like solid where the actual fire is, and then that kind of goes above. Was there like peepholes or something that you could look out of as well up at the top?
So it's open at the top. Yeah, it's an open top.
I think it was like an open top, but just walls enough for a big fire. But yeah, okay, right, yeah. I should have asked at the top.
No, the brazier is sort of in the center, and then around the outside, obviously, is where people would look out. And,
let me run.
So the only thing that you did notice while you were up there, which certainly Sophia would be aware of anyway, but Fulgur may not have been in the past, is there's a place called St. Nylene's Chapel, kind of part way into the Loch Varn's Vale, which is somewhere that you think you would probably be able to stay for the night to have shelter if you get there before nightfall.
Do I know? I rolled a prayer roll to see what I know about this chapel because I have knowledge about things sometimes, and I got a 9 overall with my 6. First time rolling it. Hopefully, it's useful.
So
you can always come back to me with that knowledge if you like.
No, that's okay. So it basically it just accommodates passing travelers. It was dedicated to the priestess Nylene, who is said to have been granted the favors of the one god there, driving back a horde of Fiondas and saving the whole group of pilgrims that accompanied her in her mystic journey towards Gwydra.
I've always wanted to visit this chapel. Probably would have mentioned that to Sophia on the way down.
I mean, it seems convenient for us to stop there. So
Sounds sensible. Did you mention Magiantist as well on that note?
Something about some old ruins. Yeah. I mean, it sounds abandoned, but obviously there's been some funny dealings.
That must be where this is all from. No good comes of that. Not from our experience so far, anyway.
In any case, that's the direction that people have been heading in to try and figure something out, and everybody's gone missing. So
they haven't come.
Direction.
Wherever they've gone, they didn't come past us that way, so they must have gone down into the Vale.
We should approach these ruins cautiously.
Well, there's not much else we can do here, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just cold. Although, I suppose we could stay here for the night, but it's a bit of a spooky place, if you ask me.
Well, with that molehill there, and given the letter you found,
let's not make a mouse out of it.
Oh.
It's rather a large molehill, Fulgur.
Sure. No, I'm happy to move on.
Okay. So you head out towards the chapel. Do you want a discussion in present day now about this as you've all come to a...
Did we ever make it to that chapel? I can't remember.
This chapel, I know. I have a memory from my dream now about the chapel. Something important.
Your dream? There was something about the chapel in your dream?
Yeah. Just to help you with this bit, you do get to the chapel, so
yeah, it's fine. We'll discuss that part in a minute.
And we remember getting to the chapel at some point.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think we did get there actually. Now my memory. God, it's hard to remember these things. It feels like they happened. It feels like that. God, it feels like it happened such a long time ago. Oh, that was a really good breakfast. I say, patting my stomach.
Okay, so
if only I managed to find some food at the.
So we got to Ingard. We found some things. Do I still have that letter, Jonny, from the
Yes. Yeah. You could pull that out now. Yeah.
We definitely got there because
there's the letter.
Yeah, here it is.
And do we remember Jaren? We didn't. None of us remember Jaren at Ingard, correct? That was
no, but he joined.
Correct. None of you are aware of him being at Ingard.
Okay.
But so he still could have joined us after then. Maybe.
I just want to make sure we've all got the same memories. That's all.
And I don't remember there being any large group of people there. So
just
we
us,
must
I
have
think. Yes.
We must have met them in the Vale, if they exist.
Maybe you're just thinking about all those soldiers. If they've disappeared, maybe that's what you're thinking of, Fulgur.
Look, if we all start, I'm doing everyone. I'm trying to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Why is my memories that didn't happen? Anyway.
Just maybe a little confused about. Never mind.
Let's see if we can remember what happened at the chapel, shall we?
Yes. What was so important about it?
I don't know. It's just
the effect.
Yeah. Okay. So you arrive at St. Nilene's Chapel. Fulgur feels a sense of spiritual wellness upon arrival at the chapel.
Thank you.
However, there is there is a woman here who you presume to be part of the church in some way, the temple, and she is dressed as if in mourning when you arrive, and she says, travelers, do you need a safe place to stay this night?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, that would be
convenient.
Of course. Yes. Please come in. It has got pretty cold now, so you'll be happy to be. There's a fire lit in there. And go on.
Are there any signs of any other people staying there tonight? Perhaps fleeing soldiers. Don't worry, I rolled a 2 on perception, so you wouldn't have to tell me either way.
Does anybody else want to have a look around as well? Actually,
4 total.
No,
yes, it's probably wise.
You would survey as you entered, wouldn't you? I suppose if you're going into
Fulgur gives his usual half a look.
7 for Sophia.
Oh, I rolled another 10.
Good.
14.
So that's 16. Do perception rolls?
I don't know, but it's fine. It's not going to do anything special. Fine. So Ragnall and Fionn, you spot what looks to you like a kind of soldier's pack leant against a wall, but no soldier with it.
I think at seeing the pack, I will say to this woman, did the soldiers come through here from the Ingard? We just came from there. We were summoned by the warning.
One did. I'm afraid he did not make it through the night. much as I tried.
Sorry to hear that.
He did not seem well in himself. He seemed, well, frankly terrified. I'm sure fighting is terrifying, but it seemed more than that. And he spoke of monsters like giant centipedes. He said that they dragged his comrades underground. It really seemed horrible.
I'll just
Aye.
look at Theon at that point.
Again, Theon doesn't remember
No,
this yet.
Theon hasn't had the dream by this point.
Stop
the
breaking
molehills.
the wall,
Molehills.
Ragnar.
Oh, the molehills. The molehills.
Molehills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. So, that doesn't seem very good.
Either they were wrong about the Magiantus being the place, and that they just got attacked back at Ingard, or it's been moving from deeper in the Vale out, and perhaps more places are in danger if it gets out the Vale and carries on.
Have you seen anyone else come through here?
There was another group before you who said that they had come from Melwan's Vale, I think, to help at Loch Varn. And people pass in and out from time to time, but nobody that, well, last night was certainly my most eventful night here.
And
When
what of
did
the
the last-
village? Do you know what's been going on there?
I don't know. I saw the smoke coming and, well, hid myself away in here, I'm afraid.
So aside from the visitors actually to the chapel, you haven't noticed anything strange yourself? You haven't come across nothing? You've otherwise been safe here?
Yes.
What do you know of the surrounding area? I mean, we've heard of some Magiantus ruins, and it seemed like some of the soldiers were heading in that direction. Do you know anything about it?
No, I mostly keep myself to myself, apart from people who pass through. But I don't think that there's been anybody there even while I've been alive, as far as I'm aware.
How old is she?
You think maybe late 20s.
Okay.
Like that. Like maybe she's this is quite a nice chapel, actually. It's almost like a mountain lodge crossed with a place of worship. It's relatively nice, but it's also quite out of the way, and she's maybe quite freshly sort of graduated from whatever sort of thing she's been in, and she's been sort of shoved out here in the middle of nowhere as far as the temple is concerned.
Fair enough.
I'm just casually looking to see if I can go and wander and have a look, see if there's like a courtyard that maybe is inside the chapel area that maybe has, soil as the ground and not big heavy flagstones.
No, it's flagstones on here.
Okay. Really good big looking ones. Okay, I'll maybe wander back to Ragnar and just whisper. Looks like there's no way for it to get in here, whatever it was. Well, certainly no ground for it to dig through anyway. Perhaps why she's still safe.
So have you noticed any, have there been any other soldiers come through? Is it just the man from yesterday?
No other soldiers recently, I'm afraid.
So it seems like nobody else has made it through here then. They would have, surely they'd have stopped here if they'd been on their way. That's deeply worrying. But villagers have been going missing as well. I suppose at the very least we need to make it to the village and check in on them, make sure we can do anything we can to help them.
Yes, I think you're right. I think there's potential for everyone in this area to be in danger if the people in that the fort were.
I think it's best just to, recuperate here for the night. Take some time to enjoy the stained glass windows. They are really unique here, and then, after a good tour around tomorrow morning, head off.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Presumably, Fionn, you can't. Is the body of the soldier still here? Can you determine anything from the?
I suppose I can try and politely ask. So would I be able to take a look at the poor man who passed? If that's okay with you, to the woman.
Yes, of course.
It might help us figure out what's going on here anyway.
She takes you through to she's wrapped the body, and she kind of gestures as if to ask if you are happy for her to leave you with it rather than staying here.
Mm-hmm.
And then she heads back into the main room.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to figure out what killed him, what sort of wounds he has on him.
Yeah, do you want to make a natural environment roll?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh, I think also Fulgur would, while they're going away, would probably take the opportunity, maybe with Sophia, to go through this bag from the soldiers left. Perhaps there's some evidence in there.
Yeah. While we're doing that, I think Sophia will ask Fulgur, is it normal for the people of your faith to dress in mourning like this for strangers?
I rolled a 16. Is this normal?
It seems almost over the top. You wouldn't dress in mourning for something like this. However, if like I said, if she's quite sort of newly graduated, she's maybe following very strictly things that people, followers of the faith, don't necessarily,
There is a precept. There is a
yeah.
precept in some books that suggests that this is appropriate, but not normally followed. However, maybe she knew someone who died. Maybe she knew the man, or one of the soldiers at the keep.
She's not offered us any food like our friend Furman used to, has she?
Not yet.
We're getting very demanding adventurers now.
Hey,
Not demanding, but I might know.
No.
Knowing what Fulgur's appetite is like.
Of all the people, if you mention that to Fulgur, Fulgur like, I know it's ridiculous. This is gonna get my rating of this chapel in
Young woman
Fulgur's
just
book of chapel.
in mourning over a horrific thing
Our
happening.
vision of Ragnar and Fionn, knowing that they would not approve, but knowing exactly what Fulgur's appetite is like, Sophia will make a little under the breath comment about it.
It's ridiculous.
I like the idea of Sophia saying to the woman, have you met Furman? No, it's just normally he just normally feeds us when we arrive. That's nothing to
he thinks we're saviors. We get a hero's welcome every
That's
time.
the first thing. First thing when we arrive, soup straight out.
I don't think we've ever arrived and there's not been food. But what's in this guy's bag? What's in the box?
You can get some rations from there.
No clues, no letters, no maps, no. I've been attacked by a giant centipede and this is where it lives.
No, there are some sort of the outer layer of the bag has kind of a tear in it, like a rip, which looks like it could have been. If your brain is going along the giant centipede route, you could imagine sort of a mandible hand, a handible, having torn through.
A handable lecter,
you could imagine that having been made by a giant centipede's claw,
I just show the rip to Sophia and go, That's all what happens. I'm gonna
Sam,
those
have you made
rational.
a natural
15.
environment roll for me? Cool.
15.
So you see quite a large number of wounds on the man, which look like large versions of insect bites are probably the nearest thing that you can relate to it, and similar sort of tears in the skin, which could have been caused by a large claw-like limb.
Okay. Were you with me, Ragnar?
I would have probably been sort of, I don't know, stuck my head around the door. I don't know whether I'll have been,
Classic Ragnar.
Yeah, well, there's no need. If you leave Fionn to do his work, I don't need to
if you're like within, or like, I don't want to shout at you though, because you might be just around the corner, so I'm probably not going to have a conversation.
He's probably like within speaking distance. That's what he normally
I'll
is.
just be like, Ragnar, come here, so
Yeah.
I can have a second opinion.
Okay, I'll get closer then, and
looks like insect bites to me, or something. Do you agree? Big ones.
that would have to be that's going to be a large. Yeah, that's
Almost one big enough to make a 3-foot hole in the ground. Sounds like this story matches.
I love
It's
this
a wonder
Waldron Scully thing going on here.
It's a wonder this man made it this far with these wounds, actually.
Jonny, do the wounds look? Does he look like? Do they look like they've died just through wounds, or is there any sort of sense of poison or?
Yeah.
You don't think poison. You could both imagine maybe shock from the sheer number of injuries that he's sustained. It may not even be blood loss. It could just be shock from the sheer, it's like 1,000 paper cuts kind of thing.
The sort of stuff you'd get if you just had a whole ceiling full of centipedes drop on you.
Just fell on you, yeah. That kind of thing.
100 centipedes or 1,000 millipedes.
Should it be 10 millipedes?
I'm sorry.
God.
Whichever, it's still a million legs.
It's a lot of legs. What were we talking about?
Fulgur has returned with Sophia perhaps to the dining area.
It exists now.
and maybe placed a napkin into his tunic.
Scraping the chair all on the floor.
Sophia is just quietly smiling to herself at this, what she's unleashed here. What did you find, Fionn?
Is that the woman here, or is she not in the room at the moment with us?
She is in the room with you.
Okay.
But she's not sort of with the group. She's sort of milling around doing her own thing.
Yeah, I will fairly quietly, but it's not like I'm trying to hide it from her. I'm just like, this isn't really a conversation for her ears sort of thing. I'll say, I would agree with centipede, very large insect. Many injuries is what killed him, but certainly sounds likely.
Centipedes aren't big, though. I'm sorry for stating the obvious. But...
This one was. Well,
just a little thing. Giant centipedes. Now, in all of my travels, and I have been traveling for some time around these lands, does the concept of a giant centipede stand out to Fulgur as something a bit odd?
You certainly haven't seen something like that. It's the kind of thing that you could imagine being described as a type of Fiondas potentially around.
Right. All right. Well, okay.
There's only one circumstance I think is likely, and I think it links very much to that Magiantis ruins. It's just like we saw in the mountain.
Well, the fossil flux there changed creatures, didn't it?
The giant reptiles, yes.
Yes.
I suppose so.
It sounds like the same circumstance to me. It could have been what made that hollow we saw at the fort.
But also that that release of flux was starting to self-crystallize. That was stopping itself. So if this seems bigger scale, this is affecting more people going missing. That to me suggests that someone is doing this deliberately, or someone's not making sure that doesn't close off, or whatever the right words are for that thing sealing itself. There's something deliberate about it, but apparently this place has been abandoned for decades. So there's something new.
I agree. It seems like someone or something is trying to misuse this place before it used to be just abandoned or dormant or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow we should visit the ruins and see for ourselves.
My vote is to head towards Loch, in that, if we go gallivanting around ruins, I think it'd probably be best to go and talk to the people who live in the Loch, and then they can tell us what to do. But maybe I'll be outvoted.
I agree that we need to go to the village, and we need to see how people are faring there, if there's any other information they have. If they're closer to the situation as well, it might be valuable insight that they can provide. And
I agree as well.
if there's any aid we can give them.
They should be the priority here, given that, as far as we're aware, no one lives at the ruins. The people most likely to be in danger are Loch Varn
But maybe
village.
the ruins are on the way to the Loch.
I don't think the ruins are on the way to the Loch. Well, we don't know that, though, do we, to be fair? We'll see.
Do we have a vague sense of the geography and the layout of this place, given that we've been told to go investigate here? Even if we don't have a full-on map, would we have a...
Yeah, do we know where the ruins are and things like that, or do we have no idea?
I'm not sure that you would know where the ruins are. You certainly know your way to the Loch in terms of a route.
That makes sense to go there then, definitely. Yeah.
Let's blindly wander around and see if we can find these ruins. I don't think that's...
I think probably the first that you would have heard of the ruins is the letter that was in the... unless somebody wants to make a case that their character has been or would know where the ruins are, potentially.
Could we potentially make a travel roll to see if we have travelled in this area before? Is that a major stretch?
I mean, it makes sense perhaps for the Varigol.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
But
kind of
it's,
like on the assumption that this is Sophia's first time in this immediate area, just so I can have like a whole bunch of extra knowledge about the space. But
it's kind of off the beaten path, so I will make it a hard roll to see if you would know where it is.
Well, I rolled a 10. I rolled overall a 10, so I doubt I know.
Yeah, it's an overall 11 for me.
Okay. No, then.
Well, maybe the woman who runs this chapel will know where it is.
Either way, that's our...
Do we get a name for her? I forget.
Ooh.
Guess not.
Joan.
Joan. I hate to disturb you from the busyness of preparing the food, but I'm wondering, do you know of these Magiantist ruins that we've been hearing so much about in letters and other things?
Not really. I believe they're somewhere, south of here, obviously. We're in the mountains, but I think they're to the, perhaps to the east of Loch Varn, somewhere. There's some forested wilderness out that way, and I think that there's somewhere amidst that. I'm sure that people in
Loch Varn will know.
Yes, in the village there will be aware.
Well, I think it would be good to go to the village first, and then we'll find out.
She is preparing food.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else we need to do this evening, or I suppose if we get earlier we get to bed, the earlier the rise?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like it's more. That's everything I planned at this place.
Fulger's probably going to have a fantastic evening. This is like a theme park for him. He's going to go and pray all the chapels. He's going to adore the tapestries. He's going to contemplate the stained glass windows.
Any
You know.
brass rubbings? Is that a thing that you?
I mean, do I have any paper? No. If I had paper,
Just stare at
maybe
them
I'd
and
take some
remember them.
rubbings.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know,
You could push your soap against them and kind of,
it'd make a soap
like
imprint.
emboss. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, soap's pretty valuable. I don't want to leave any of that stuff
Okay.
behind.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's a whole ember dowel.
Right. Well,
Cool. Are we done for the evening here then?
I think so.
Yeah.
Are we doing the wibbly
Are
wibblies,
we?
Jonny? Or is there more at the chapel?
So
Later that evening.
as you are having your discussions about the chapel, you realise that following the visit to the chapel, your memories all become slightly
Disjointed.
Yeah. So, you know, we're back now at the camp in the forest, and the sun is rising. And you know that you were on your way to Varn village. So that would be your sort of destination today.
Oh, hang on. What? We're back
Present time.
Present
back in the
time.
room.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we went to the chapel and we're on our way to the village.
No,
And
we've done a lot of things since then. Like,
yeah.
I
'Cause
remember
we've been to the ruins.
I shaved at the village, and now I shaved at the chapel, and now I'm not.
Full beer.
But I
Well, I don't know how beardy Fulgur is now, but you know.
So yeah, basically, as far as all of you are concerned, apart from Ragnall, so what Sophia has just said may be correct.
but Fulgur remembers like some people and fighting, and then Sophia remembers Jaren.
Just about to say, I'm not.
Yeah, but in terms of the timeline, you know,
Okay.
Ragnall is the only one who remembers an event that is
Right.
outside of your
So, I feel
understanding. of what's
this is all perfect. Everything matches up. Great.
pretty much, yeah. Although you still have a feeling of unease that something
Yeah.
isn't right about what's going on here.
This is. I got to say, the more we kind of think through each of the steps properly, I can't quite place where Jiren came into it. Why he might have gone.
Justin?
Have I burnt my candles down at all?
If it really.
Leave yourself messages in the in.
I was like, I wish I was playing the character who would keep a diary. Then I would have information. And then I was like, I don't do that. But I've got candles. Went to
Maybe a
dark
little.
place. Maybe a little.
Yeah.
Well, that could be anything, then, couldn't it? Ah, well.
The centipedes. There's no doubt about that now. I dreamt about them with the ruins. It was just a dream to me before, but I mean, with what we've heard, there's no doubt the centipedes must be important here somehow. That
There's no doubt that you dreamt about them.
I mean, I can
But that
understand
soldier
you
was
dreaming
attacked by
about
them.
centipedes.
I saw him. There's
You
no
saw
doubt
he'd been
that was an
attacked
insect.
by something.
An insect of some sort, I'm certain of it, and a very large one at that. And those holes could very likely have been such too.
Perhaps another Magintist trick.
Precisely.
I mean, it's not that bizarre to start having nightmares about some nightmarish things we've been hearing about. I don't know if that necessarily lends credence to their definite existence, but I mean, we've seen enough evidence of there being some sort of awful monster that's been, I guess, at the very least, killed that one soldier. I don't know.
How
But
far
we-
is
we-
it to Varn?
We don't know exactly where we are, I think, do we? We know we're in the forest. Anyway.
Yeah, you I think if you sort of get your bearings, you figure you can get there by nightfall, like this evening.
I think if we get to Varn, we'll have a lot more answers. Maybe the Jiron, he had there. Maybe we should tell them about these people that have gone missing. Maybe they'll know what's happened. But right now, you know, if we're staying put, maybe that makes us a better target for these centipedes.
Whatever's happened, it seems certain that from the chapel, for some reason, we all remember different things. Of this, we're all agreed in some manner. I mean, Ragdoll, you remember a completely different location we've been to.
Well, yes, but I've got, I have physical things from there. So
Yes, I know.
At least I went there.
Well,
and
you might pick them. I mean, maybe you picked something up at the barracks as well and just forgot where they came from. Maybe I picked them up in the office and passed them to you to look at. I don't know, but how could you have gone somewhere in all this time?
I don't know. Perhaps we were poisoned. Perhaps it was those demands for food that
Theon only a few, as far as we were, only recently forgot huge portions of his life. He forgot killing somebody.
But for all four of us, it seems strange, doesn't it?
But these are divergent.
These are strange times.
That's a big word for Ragdoll to know. He wouldn't have said that.
Divergent. I've been teaching. Fulger's been teaching him smart words.
Ragdoll remarks at the long word that he says.
Oh. Where did that come from? I must have seen it somewhere. Perhaps that was it though. Anyway, yes, it makes sense.
Ragdoll's an imposter. Stab.
Sus. Yes, we need to find someone else. We need to get to Loch.
I think it'd just be safer to get out of the wilderness, especially if there's.
Well, why did we even sleep here? Why would we sleep in the open if we were worried about centipedes?
My memory wasn't on what last night is fuzzy, to be honest.
We should we should keep watches maybe if we need to stay out again.
Hopefully we'll be at the village by nightfall. Be safer there.
Yeah.
Johnny, thinking about the chapel and how our memories diverged there, I can't remember exactly what the words were, but do I remember the dream, what I remember from the end of the dream now in that context? The chapel was mentioned in that capacity. What was it again? Yeah. Could you remind me?
It was Remember the Chapel.
I remember that part. The only part I did remember.
This is a heck of a scenario.
I'm glad that you brought this message to heart and remembered it.
Remember the chapel.
What was that thing I was supposed to remember?
Remember the chapel.
Memories.
Don't forget the chapel. It holds secrets.
It holds secrets.
So, there was a message at the end of my dream that seemed significant. There's some secrets at the chapel. Something going on there. I don't know what that means, but it matches to what we remember now, correct?
Well, perhaps we all need to go back there. I mean, nothing we've talked about seemed particularly significant.
Not there, but the fact that from there everything is.
I mean,
easy.
I'm gonna put it out there, Fiona. All of this is based upon your dream.
Well, my dream and our memories, all of our memories.
How certain can we be that Joan was truly of your faith, Fulgur, and the proper keeper for that chapel?
I mean,
fake.
That I don't know. She was late with the food.
Well, I know I joked about that, Fulgur, but her manner was very different to Furman's.
But some of the followers of the temple come from divergent schools of thought. Not all of them put service so highly on their list of articles of faith. Like myself, obviously.
Well, it's that, but she seemed to take the death of that soldier very personally to heart.
Let us go to Varn. Varn, we shall have the answers. I always got to stay positive. That's nearly always the way I behave.
Johnny, can I call Morag from the trees? I feel like I should feed her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Morag remembers.
She is still with us and well.
Yeah, that's good.
Presumably, is she?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, cool. I will just mutter to her, I wish I could see all this through your eyes.
Okay, you're heading to Varn Village?
Yeah.
Cool. So you travel through most of the day. and at the beginning of the afternoon you arrive, so probably 6 or 7 hours, I imagine, of travel.
Cool.
So Varn's village is a fisherman's village, built on the shore of the Loch, and it's protected by a thick fence of pointed logs, and circled by a ditch bristling with rusty-headed spears. There are a few watchtowers which allow the inhabitants to keep watch over the edge of the nearby forest. Inside, there are no streets. It's not paved. It's just muddy tracks. And the houses are made of wood with thatched roofs. And, this is in the heart of sort of a mountain range. And it's kind of, it feels like it's sort of been forgotten almost. Like the technological level, even sort of versus some of the small villages that you've been to, is lower.
Are there any signs of life?
There are people there. There is no inn or shop. The only buildings that you can tell apart from the others are the village hall, where the councils would take place, and the House of the Demathers, so the school, basically.
Could we see the map of the valley again?
Yes.
I'm presuming we haven't seen any large molehills on the valley.
I've definitely been keeping her out of
You have not.
Sorry, distracting you partway through.
No, that's okay.
Cool.
So, on your arrival at the village, somebody comes up to you and says, did you find anything?
No.
Look at.
I'm sorry, have we?
Maybe.
Do you recognize us?
Yes, of course.
We've been having some. Yeah. Who are you? Sorry.
Details.
Maybe. Hang on. Jiren, is Jiren not with you? Has something happened to Jiren?
I told you.
Something has happened to us. We think maybe some giantess magic. We can't remember almost anything.
When were we last here? When did we last speak to you?
Just in down between two buildings, in the shade of a house. You Sam, even Theon, you see what you believe to be the person that was killed by Fulgur in the dream. Okay. Which distracts you for a moment, and then you kind of blink and the figure is gone. It was sort of it almost cloaked in shadow down this kind of alleyway. So you kind of shake it off as maybe you were seeing.
In conscious memory, I'm not aware I've met that person. It's only in the
correct.
Dream. So if that person were real, presumably that would be someone I have met in my past who I no longer remember. That's what I'm. Fion's thinking. Okay. I will be momentarily shaken and then ask. So when were we last here? When did you speak to us?
A few days ago. Look, there's a council meeting this evening. I I think you should probably settle yourselves in and maybe come there and tell us what you know.
That seems reasonable. Can you tell us anything now about what you remember of us coming here? What's your name?
What's been happening?
My name is Jabir. We called for help, and you were one of the scouting parties sent to help us.
That sounds about right to us.
Jiren the Varigal was here in the village upon your arrival, and he went out with you to look at the ruins.
Have any other of these parties returned?
No.
I told you we went to the ruins.
I told you Jiren was real.
I worry that Fulger's memory is true as well. Fulger had the bad memory. It's reasonable.
Okay.
Flippin' heck.
Fulger's is the one where lots of people died. That's one we don't want to be true.
This is out of character laughing.
Anyway, if there's nothing more that this person's willing to, if this person, for unbeknownst to reasons, perhaps plot reasons, doesn't want to tell us all the things until the council meeting, then are we spinning on? Or
yeah, I mean, if I get the chance, I will fairly quickly hurry in the direction of that alley that I saw the person from my dream, probably without really saying anything.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't. There's nobody there, and there are tracks, but it's all muddy everywhere.
Yeah,
that's not. It doesn't mean anything.
I
there are
suppose
tracks here.
If no one else is trying to get my attention, I'll probably just spend some time wandering the village, seeing if I recognize any other faces of people or if I see that person again. But that might be fruitless. That's just
probably
my plan
the
for
same
next
thing.
Half hour or so.
I think all of us should try and do as many things as we can to jog our memories.
Yeah,
and if that just means walking around, then that just means walking
looking
around.
at things. Yeah.
But I suppose nothing comes back.
No, I'm afraid not. I think before you head to the council meeting is probably a good time to end for this evening.
Makes sense. I love how definitely straightforward and easy to remember everything. Goodness me.
Oh god, this.
Think about how fun recaps are going to be next week.
Oh no! There's like three.
What did Fulger do? He made breakfast.
So now we have in this plot arc so far my dream, and then we have us waking up, and then we have flashbacks to the previous time before the wake up and my dream, and then we have the after we woke up thing. Jeez, this is getting.
Yeah.
If there's any more of these time switch arounds, Johnny, I quit.
I think there might be some more.
Time travel. We have to have time travel in the third arc. Visit ourselves in the past and tell us not to go.
I'm just recovering from the last arc. That was hard enough.
We're all getting a taste of what it must have been like to be Theon, though. Suddenly waking up and not having that memory.
True.
So.
Yeah, I know. I think
this is always the third story in the thing, isn't it? Or can you do this one first? I forget.
This could be the first.
Oh bloody hell!
That's a heck of a start for a.
Imagine doing this and then afterwards it's the memory loss thing, and you're like, oh god,
I thought it was a bit much to do as a first.
Also, could you imagine
story?
If you'd picked up this Shadows of Esteren as your first ever roleplay?
Oh wow!
To be fair, in the book it says for more experienced people, it may be fun to start with Loch Varn. But it recommends poison as a starter for
sure.
Yeah.
You know where you are.
Personally, I feel offended that you didn't start with Loch Varn.
That was more for my benefit than for yours.
We're experienced.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks,
guys.
If you have any questions or comments, then put them in the chat and we can discuss those. So Wednesday, Simba Room. And then Sunday. It's this Sunday, isn't it? Tales from the Loop.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so Wednesday, Simba Room. Thursday, Tales from the Loop. And next Monday, we should be back with more dreams and time travel and fossil flux.
I think
maybe centipedes.
Yeah, the end of it is just we're just going to fight each other because we're going to get so annoyed at us some remembering some things and It's just we're going to end up killing each other.
This
that's
is
what I
like
predict.
Fulger's superpower. He's never, he's always,
He'll-
he's always somewhere between the correct and incorrect version of the truth. And so for him, it works.
Well,
Good old Fulger just ignoring the problems at hand. Yeah,
Look,
thanks, Mars.
I
I
can
can't
tell
remember
you-
what that was. That was specifically in relation to something, but it could
was
be
just-
put in at any point.
I always feel better after I've taken a shower and had something to eat. And Fulger knows that that's true. Fulger knows that if you wake up and you can't sleep because someone's talking about centipedes, have a
Yeah.
shower, cook yourself some food, be much better off
right.
dealing with that problem after that.
I
to see
think
what
I think the best possible course of action at the beginning of the next session is just to go straight over that pass. Straight over that pass
Oh,
and
go
leave.
home. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
leave. Yeah.
This is already weird enough. And
Then we'll
I've
be
had-
walking back and be like, do you remember? Oh, I remember now. Do you remember when we...
I feel like Fion might have to try and make a little bit of that case. Just I had a bad time with memory already. I'm not sure I'm up for this.
And it's just, oh, do you remember we left Giron? We said we'd be right back as soon as we go to Loch. And he's just there. He doesn't have enough food.
In that tree with all those centipedes beneath him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Well,
All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next Monday for who knows what. And yeah, join us on Wednesday for Simberium and Sunday at about 3 p.m. for Tales from the Loop.
Bye.
bye for now.
Bye-bye, everybody.